Hey, girlfriend, what song are you listening to that has been an inspiration, just really meaningful? Maybe it gets you up and dances, maybe it relaxes your heart, maybe it touches you where just to get you moving in the right direction. And Chris Dyer, thank you for joining us today and creating this reflection. I have been having fun with this. And one of the quotes that starts your reflection off before we get started on conversation is maybe maybe the most powerful love song you'll ever hear is the one you finally sing to yourself.
I love that
Oh
quote.
my goodness, welcome. I'm so glad you are here. Tell the girlfriends a little bit about you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this reflection that we have in the Being Brave Tour magazine, and we're going to walk through it here on the podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you, Karen. What you and I are both at a similar phase in life where we're not just working for a living. We're here to create a life we love,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right, it's a phase, and we're privileged enough to have made it this far, right? And
Right.
that's gratitude. But I've completed a 7-year cycle. So all the things that I'm going to share with you today, hopefully in conversation, is some of the revelations, the recognitions. It's a reclamation of myself and being available to myself for myself because programming, conditioning, cultural, whatever. We women, particularly Gen X women, we've been given a script where we're to be the providers, the caregivers, the nurturers of everyone else, making sure everyone else's needs are put before our own. And there's a little clicheism in there, right? Putting on our own oxygen mask, but we hear it's like, yeah, 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 but the patterns still show up until we take the time to give ourselves time to sit, reflect, contemplate, and identify what we truly want, who we really are after we've been the mother, we've been the wife, we've been the employee, we've been the perfect this and that, right? And it's returning to presence instead of performance.
Yes. So we're going to dive into a lot of things here, girlfriend. So buckle up. But Chris, first of all, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about your story.
My favorite tagline, because I am a little tongue in cheek, a little cheeky, I retired from healthcare to become the healthiest version of myself. So
Yes.
that there's irony in that. And so I'm a science geek. I'm a nerd. I'm absolutely an educator, a teacher at heart, but I'm also a healer as well. And why I don't typically identify with those because I've accumulated a lot of skill sets that complement all these things throughout my life and now entrepreneurship. But I'm a teacher, and I knew this when I was probably in kindergarten. When you asked me when I want to be when I grow up, I want to be a teacher and a scientist. Well, guess what? I
Oh,
manifested that, right?
oh,
Maybe not in the construct that people think, but when you stretch and you extrapolate the meaning of both, it's like, yeah, I'm absolutely who I said I was at 5 years old.
oh, that's interesting. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness. So, girlfriends, what did you say when you were a kid growing up that you wanted to be? Did you manifest that or did it come show some way in your life? So, yes. So, you are currently working with women and helping them out. So, tell us a little bit about that as we get a little bit of grounding of where you are coming from with this reflection.
Well, in this 7 year cycle for me, and we'll get into more of the details, the setup, right?
Yeah.
We thought maybe it was the setback, but it was truly the setup. So we're starting with the present and understanding that, and I've had a I operate by declarations and decisions, right? A declaration is it's a higher imperative with you and your higher self. It's, that communication with your source power, your soul, your spirit. And I declared in 2019 that I would be my own soulmate. And so source and support has come from out of the woodwork to demonstrate that that actually is true. And part of my article with you was, the love songs to myself is understanding that we were born whole and complete We are complete sovereign human beings, and we've been programmed and conditioned to thinking that we need to seek something outside of us or someone to fill a void or complete us. And that's actually very false. So where we can have very meaningful emotional connections with our partners or spouses, family, we are not intended to be ultra independent. We're intended to be interdependent, right? We thrive together in communion with others, but at the end of the day, the relationship with ourself is the most important relationship we'll ever have because people can come and go. Situations bring people to us and then they get removed. So at the end of the day, it's the relationship with you that sets your soul on fire.
Yeah. So what inspired this reflection that we're going to be walking through as a toolkit for transformation? What's the story behind it?
Well, I grew up in a musical family. It's part of my inherent programming that I just choose to keep, right? We get to choose to keep
Right,
the parts
right.
of the script that work for us and serve us and elevate us. And then we release the parts of the script that had a place, maybe they don't have a place anymore. But music has always been in my background and I identify as being musical. I sang in chorus in high school. I was in the marching band. I always had music around me. My mother was a sweet Adeline, so I grew up appreciating four-part harmonies, a cappella music, and also I had a godmother who she was, I think she really was a fairy godmother. I think she
Mm.
wasn't brought here to support my mother. I think she was brought here to support me.
Oh,
And so she was a part of my life for 5 years and then a 15-year break and then for 5 more years before she transitioned. So very, very important parts of my life that she came into my life to support. And I'm still unpacking the lessons that she left me.
oh, isn't that something? It's lifelong, isn't it?
It is. It truly is. And so she and I, we played where my mother is very rigid and right and regulated and very stoic and didn't know how to show emotion, didn't talk about our feelings, right? Your feelings were kept quiet and a lot of silence and a lot of shame around that. So I'll just call her my godmother. She encouraged the kid and me. We played together. We went to movies, we went to um like American Graffiti, American Hot Wax, like and all of that was surrounded by music from the 50s and the 60s, right? All those the original boy bands. But I that music has been etched on my soul. It's a
Mm.
part of who I am and how I identify as my happy times in my childhood. And so music has just followed me throughout my life. And, as an adult and putting others' needs before my own, playing music, dancing, singing, all those sort of fell back. But there was always the radio, there was always your CD collection, there was your vinyl, whatever. But it was always the tempo of the music that, right? I really wasn't listening to the lyrics or understanding the meaning of the words, and that happened much more later in life, which is like this last 7 year cycle of breaking apart interpretations and what things actually mean to you and how lyrics speak to you. There's lots of storylines, the hero's journey in movies, right? When you have this new self-awareness, you never look at life the same way again, right? You have different lenses, right? You're putting on a different set of glasses and perspectives. And
Right.
the movies that we watched growing up, like Star Wars, oh, light and dark, good and evil, yeah, right? It's all those undertones that have always been there. And now again, you see everything differently.
Yeah. So how do you kind of incorporate the music into transformation or into your life? How are you walking women through and using that as a tool?
Well, music is a universal language. Music speaks to us, and sometimes where words can't
Yes.
reach us, right? Music is frequency, it is vibration, there is science behind the music that we listen to and what turns us on, what gets us excited, what motivates us to go for a walk, what motivates us to go to a dance class, right? music and dance go hand in hand together usually, right? And it's very music leans towards self-expression. So for me, and I mentioned in the article, I started listening to the lyrics, and there was one day specifically where I was on a walk, I was moving, right? I mean, somatics is like a new thing, a new catchphrase, a buzzword, somatic therapy. Well, that means moving your body in
Yeah.
different ways to move energy, right? Move emotions out of the body through physical movement, and dance is a beautiful way to do that. So is walking. So is going and lifting a pair of hand weights, or swimming, or going out in your yard and cutting flowers and make creativity. There's lots of ways to move energy through the body, and walking is one of the most affordable, inexpensive ways. But I was on a walk listening to a Pandora station, and I heard a song that what very familiar, probably one of my top 10 favorite songs, and it always hit me in my soul area, right? My soul, my heart chakra. And it was Be My Baby from the Ronettes. And so I kind of joke with myself. I say that I'm a hopeful romantic. I'm not a hopeless romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic.
Yeah.
But music from that time period was typically written as if you're speaking to the other person,
Hmm.
right? And usually it was a woman talking to a guy lamenting love or loss, or a guy, lamenting love or loss. And so in the song, I'm for some reason my imagination kicked in high gear because I was in flow. I was walking, getting oxygen to the brain, blood flowing, everything moving. And I started listening to the lyrics as if I was looking at myself in a mirror.
Oh,
I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I saw my little girl, and I was singing The Night We Met, I Knew I Needed You So. If I had the chance, I would never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. Right? It's when you evoke those words to yourself instead of somebody else, it changes the entire inflection.
yes.
And in that moment, it's like, oh my gosh, there it is. I want to be making love, singing to myself, not just to someone else, but to myself. And I've been in this period of love is my superpower. Well, there it was. That was the musical technique you were asking me about.
Yes. So some things are coming up for me as you were talking. One is that, all those songs, even today, so many are about love and, relationships, and I was just thinking, why are there so many? There's probably 98% of the songs are about love or loss of love, or, all those, anything around that, because it brings up so much emotion,
Mhm.
and so much emotion that most people can relate to. But as you said, turning that and looking at yourself in the mirror, how often do we love ourselves that much that we would sing a song to ourselves? And if we had that much emotion that could bubble up and out of us and have it radiate outward, wouldn't that just be something, Chris? That's what I think I love about this reflection, is just being able to take that, what we tend to just go outward with to another person. What if it came from within, and, in a different, just kind of looking at it, this in a whole different way,
Right.
and having that love for ourselves, and having that just bubble up and just be such a light outward.
Well, absolutely. And it's interesting, kind of going back to my declaration from 2019, and learning about boundaries, because that was something that we really weren't taught growing up. That's kind of new in the support and mental health, emotional health. And I would say, in particular, I love you and I love me too. Right. And that was kind of like the separation of energy from myself and the other person. Right. And letting other people have their own experience, and recognizing what was mine and what wasn't mine. Right. When we talk about quantum entanglement, energy, that entanglement, and when we're around people particularly if we're highly empathic and we are givers, we tend to overgive, overshare,
Mhm.
overstep to our own detriment.
Yes,
And
I
it's
relate.
interesting. Yeah, well, and it's interesting because that's the fun part about life is almost everything is a paradox, right? It has a positive and a negative, and too much of anything is not healthy, right?
Right.
Right? We're supposed to have enough confidence, but not be arrogant, right? No confidence is right. You allow yourself to be taken advantage of. You're a doormat, and so the sweet spot is in the middle. It's recognizing both sides of the paradox, and so is the word consent. And it's interesting. I will hear a word or I'll hear somebody that's kind of like their catchphrase, right? Consent is sexy. Somebody said that. That wasn't my phrase. It's like interesting consent. I will sit and sit and sit on it and contemplate and pick it apart. It's like consent even has two sides, right? Consent is healthy, right? Because we're giving people permission to treat us or act a certain way that reflects um, responsibility and respect and dignity. But can you recall times in your life when you consented to things that you had no business consenting to,
Mhm.
right? We
Mhm.
consented to things because um, we wanted to be thought of a certain way. We wanted to be the good girl. So we did things that probably weren't always in our best interest, but we did it anyway to follow authority. So we can actually question times in our lives where we gave consent that we get to revoke it. It's like that no longer serves me, right? So again, consent has a paradox to it.
Right. So as we're walking through this reflection here, how can we put this into action with music to support our transformation, to support our, where we're at in life? What does that look like?
Well, I would say start with a couple songs that really speak to you, that sort of hit you in the heart anyway. You probably have a catalog full of favorites and go back without distraction and sit really quietly and just let the lyrics melt over you while you're imagining looking in that mirror at yourself, at your inner child, at your soul. You're speaking directly to your soul, and I happen to think your soul and your inner child are synonymous. Your spirit is your inner child, and that is the source. When you can look at yourself with that amount of unconditional love, that is recognizing the source, God within you, universe, universal energy, source, whatever word that you choose that resonates for you based on your belief system. Recognizing yourself, seeing yourself without the layers, without the labels, without the roles, without the identities, all the things that you acquired in your lifetime, and slowly start peeling those back and to truly see yourself as love. And
Mm,
that's why I titled it Love Songs to Myself, is being able to use, there's hundreds of thousands of songs. Whatever,
yeah.
if it's country, find a country song. If it's contemporary Christian, go find a Christian, right? It doesn't matter. You can use any song in any genre. Probably not so much hip hop or right. I mean, that's very um, the energy and words contain energy and vibration too. So be selective. And it's funny because I was a fitness instructor and it was always heavy beat, heavy bass, right? And along with that really comes some very heavy, dense lyrics. So be more selective with what you're allowing into your system, into your subconscious. So where it's fun, now I'm selective. I can pick and choose those songs because they're very motivating to work out to when I want that kind of music. But when I'm in a tender moment or just needing to reconnect with myself or just listening to songs, I can pick out I'm singing that to myself.
Yeah.
I no longer need to sing that to someone else.
There we go. Yeah. So I started exploring some songs that kind of represent where I'm at or what I've gone through. And one of the ones as for business wise that I had chosen was Helen Reddy, I Am Woman.
Yeah.
because here I am creating this where we're celebrating and empowering women and with reflections like this. And one of my favorite lines that I love, because so much of what we do, and like even with this reflection, you've shared your story. And so much of it is that lived experience brings the wisdom to where we're at today. And her line is, yes, I am wise, but it is the wisdom born of pain. And that one almost, I mean, it brings so much emotion for me. And I mean, even just goosebumps because I
Mhm.
have myself gone through so much over the years, but there's so much wisdom. So I'm so thankful now. And so it almost brings tears to my eyes because I know that other women have gone through so much to get to where they're at today, too, to bring this, especially if you're a woman of a more interesting age. There has been a lot of wisdom born of the pain, and that's where our lived wisdom comes from. And we can share that, and it can be beautiful. And, we're in a different place than we were before. We're not in the pain, hopefully, that hopefully some of those we've learned the lessons of the things that we've come through. But I that one just really speaks to me. And another one that uh, popped up on my list was one from Style Council, which was a band that was during I think it was the 90s. So it was like during my or in the late 80s, during some of my college years, young adult, and in my 20s. And one of the songs is I can't remember the name, but one of the lines is "You can change it if you try." And but I love the beat to that music, and it just represents. I just remember these years of traveling Europe, and so it brings back so many fond memories
Mhm.
of that young adulthood where you kind of felt free and you didn't have all the responsibilities of family and all these different things that you could just get out there. Because I am now in this season kind of free again.
Yeah.
I'm, semi-retired, and
Mhm.
what is life now gonna? And I'm like, oh, maybe I need to grab some of those feelings of that college time where you felt free and you're learning and you're growing and you're just getting out there. And so I'm bringing some of that back into my life.
Well, I think there's a lot of repurposing going on here,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And reclamation. You are remembering who you are, and
Oh, yeah.
that's what music can do for us because you're still the same woman as you were back then, but now you have a new perspective, and now you can invite that music back into your present to
Yeah.
help you reclaim her. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you for saying that. That's just
Mhm.
so beautiful. And we're all in different spaces and different seasons in our life. And I would be so fun for women to share some of this. What are some of the songs that are really kind of coming back for you or are really important in your life? So, Chris, tell us a few that are really touching your heart at this season of life for you.
Well, I have a list, and which will eventually, be formatted into a book. But I know I mentioned because I was a Beatles fan and a Beach Boys fan,
Oh, yeah, me
and
too.
both of them. I mean, if you study their discography, all of them. They're pretty much geniuses, really. They used lyrics to convey emotion and feelings
Mm.
that they're timeless, really. So I mentioned the song from Paul McCartney when he was with Wings, not necessarily the Beatles, but with Wings, and it's My Love, and it's as if he's singing to his first wife, who, of course, transitioned very early. Um, but again, when I sang it to myself, my love holds the key to me. My love holds the other key to me. And when we're looking for that door to
Mm.
get back to our soul, to ourself, love is the key. And when you start getting curious about that, then you see where love shows up in other songs. And when you can sing that back to yourself, um, again, it's the reclamation and the recognition and the remembering that
Mm.
women are doing when they take the time to slow down, minimize distractions. There's a lot of noise in the world. There's a lot of manipulation, and that's a conversation for another time. But it is the return to self and the recognition of who you are before life tried to tell you you were someone else.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. And one little sentence right there, girlfriends. So let's just real kind of recap a little bit about like what is kind of the steps that maybe you would suggest women do with music and just kind of simplify it into a couple steps for them.
Identify a couple songs that have just kind of carried them through their life. Maybe start with songs that they listened to early in life during a happier time period, right before life got crazy and wonky, and right we just got tied up in the minutia of being there for everyone else. Usually it is childhood, maybe early teenage years, but it can even be it can be fun music. It doesn't have to be super serious, but it can be tender. But even there's modern songs like Sia,
Mhm.
right? Uh,
Right.
and when you recognize it's not just a song just playing randomly on a radio, but when it's like, oh no, that's meant for me. Sia put those words and those lyrics out there for her, for us. And when we embody that language, the feeling, the inflection, the intonation, it really is embodiment of the lyrics and the the vibration of the music
Right.
and what was meant behind it. And of course, I mean, there's a lot of modern women rock stars that have started singing a lot more empowering music. Like, for instance, what's her name? I Can Buy Flowers for Myself, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
Miley Cyrus, yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
So even in like even the movies like Disney, we were programmed, like the prison princesses, they were always waiting for their knight in shining armor to come kiss them and save them, right? It's like there's been a shift, a change where women are being displayed as more brave and more empowering and more courageous. It's even showing up. Um, it's showing up in our music.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Just select music that empowers you, sit with it, let it wash over you, drink
Mhm.
it in to your soul, and pick your own playlist, create your own playlist.
Yeah. One thing that you said that I think I am going to do is find a song that is, speaking to me and sing it to myself in the mirror. You
Mhm.
mentioned that a couple times, and I
Yeah,
have never done that.
yeah.
I'll sing a lot in my car because that's kind of my space where I let everything else go and I can kind of be, I just sing out loud and it's fun. And one of the songs lately that has been kind of touching my heart is I also love a lot of the 50s and 60s. I grew up on that and we just Petulia Clark and all these different great people. But I don't know if this is the name of the song, but it's What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love.
Yeah, Dionne Warwick, of course.
Yeah, Dionne Warwick sang it, and another gal sang it too. And I just love that song because it's kind of just it's like you know what we do need some love, and it just reminds me of a big hug. And so yeah, so it'll be interesting to create a playlist, girlfriends. I would love for women to share their maybe a couple of the songs that just really are touching their hearts because it might
Mhm.
be somebody else's new favorite that maybe we haven't heard of before. So I just love this to interact and to just kind of look at life differently. And I love what you said too about seeing ourselves before the world, you know, told us how we should be or all those expectations that we've been living up to as we became adults and maybe go back to that time of for me playing feeling playful feeling free. What does that look like? Girls, we can do so much and just so much creativity, and I just feel like music, I know it helps me create. I will put on particular music when it's time to create. I put on certain music to engage my brain and to create. And sometimes I'll even get up and dance and then I'll go create and do something. So that's why I absolutely love this reflection. And I hope that ladies will walk through it with you. And so, Chris, what would you like to leave the women with? What is your hope that they'll get out of this?
Allow yourselves permission to feel.
Oh. Yeah.
Feel the music, feel the lyrics. And it's probably a good idea to be by yourself in a quiet place or without distractions so you can really embody the lyrics and sometimes it's a chord. Maybe it's not even the lyrics, but music is intended to be an emotional expression, a self-expression.
Yeah.
And there's so many great opportunities, and it's probably free. I mean, if you have a radio station, if you have a car, you go to a restaurant. I mean, of course, a restaurant that's kind of noisy, but doing it in a quiet place, because there will probably be a spontaneous reaction of release.
Yes. Even when sometimes I need to just have a good cry, I'll
Mhm.
go pick a sad song
Yeah,
because it's that, like, that permission to release. I love how you said that, to actually to feel.
yeah. We've 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 been the super independent. We've been the high achievers. We've been the go-getters and the very,
Mm.
confidence. And that works until, the world starts collapsing, or our world starts collapsing and the foundation gets shaky. It's because we forgot ourselves somewhere in that scaffolding, in that building that we were building. So this truly is a reclamation process. And it's one of many tools that support other types of modalities, sound therapy, hypnotherapy, right? There's so many modalities out there. And I mentioned in the beginning that as a teacher and a healer, we want to be able to provide tools that are available to just about anyone who are willing and open to trying it. And music is everywhere. I think music was a gift to us as humans to be able to thrive, and as a communication tool. And the communication with yourself, again, is the most important communication. And we've dulled ourselves, we've repressed, suppressed. And so giving yourself permission to feel, is my ask for you.
I love it. And we are going to end on that note. Give yourself permission to feel, ladies. Go discover some beautiful music and share it here with us. And you can download the magazine. The digital copy is free to any woman. You can walk through this with Chris, and she has all of her connection information there as well. Chris, thank you for joining us today. And I so appreciate you walking us through this. And how can ladies connect with you if they would like to?
Well, I'm on all social media channels, but also I think the easiest would be go to Love Songs to Myself. Um, so I actually created a web address that links directly to my website for connection and
Okay.
opportunity to take the conversation further.
Yes, and I love that. Love songs to myself. Oh, girls, you are so worth it. Go spend some time, look at yourself in the mirror, sing out loud, give yourself a hug, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you.